Okay, so today what you missed, what we worked on today was writing an equation in slope-intercept form. So if you remember, and this is really important to remember, your slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. Really important, we're going to be using this a lot. M is your slope, and b is what we call the y-intercept. All right, remember where the line crosses the y-axis. All right, so here we have a table, and what's great about this table is we have an important number. We see that x is 0. That means that this is now your y-intercept. This is your b value. So I might write that down here. b equals -3. Now we have to figure out, we have our b value, we have to figure out the slope using this table. So I might not look at the negative number because that kind of scares me. So I'm going to look at the 1, and I'm going to say, what do I have to do to go from 1 to the number 5? You can work backwards. So you can say 5 minus 1 is 4. So is 1 plus 4 5? Yeah. All right. So how do I go from 5 to 7? Well, I can subtract 7 minus 5 and I would get 2. So 5 plus 2 would be 7. Over here, I'm going to just stay away from this for a minute. How do I go from 2 to 4? Okay, so I added 2. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. How do I go from 4 to 5? 4 plus 1 gives you 5. All right, so remember that if I go y over x, the change in y, the slope would be the average of y over x. So let's do the change here, which is 4 over 2. So 4 over 2, 4, here's your y, over 2, which is your x. And if I simplify that, 4 divided by 2 would be 2. Let's look at this one. If I put the y, 2, over the 1, and I simplify, 2 divided by 1 is 2. So you can see that they have the same slope. So m equals 2. Awesome. So now we have our b value, which is our y-intercept, and we have our slope, which is 2. We're going to use this equation, y equals mxb, to write the equation. And all we have to do is write y equals, what's our m value? 2. Keep the x. I'm not going to write plus b because this is a minus or a -3, so I'm going to write 2x minus 3. And then you have now written your equation in slope-intercept form. Over here, things are a little bit different. I don't have that beautiful value, that beautiful y-intercept. So let's start with figuring out the slope first, and we'll kind of come back to the y-intercept. So we have to figure out what do I have to do to go from 4 to -2? You can work backwards and go -2 minus 4, and you're going to get a -6. And let's see if that makes sense. 4 minus 6 equals -2. And if you don't know it, you can always put it in the calculator. -2 to -8. Again, you can go -8 minus -2, should get -6. -2 minus 6, you're going more negative. You're starting at -2 and you're going more negative. You're going to get -8. -8 to -14, again, is -6. So you have your y values. Now let's look over here. What's the change over here from 1 to 2? This is fairly straightforward. It looks like it's just increasing by 1. Increasing by 1, increasing by 1. So again, we're going to go back over here. Y over x, negative 6 over 1. I'm just going to write it over here. Negative 6 over 1. And I could do that 3 times. And you'll see that our slope now is negative 6 over 1, or we can just call it negative 6. So our m value, or slope, is negative 6. Now, intercept. The intercept has to have a 0 for x. So in this instance, we're going to work backwards. So to go backwards in our table, I'm going to change up my color here real quick. Go backwards, instead of subtracting 6, I have to do the opposite if I want to go backwards. So I'm going to add 6. So 4 plus 6 should be 10. Now, if I went from here to here, it should be negative 6. So 10 minus 6 is 4. So now we have this beautiful number here, this y-intercept. Your intercept is now 10. Remember, your b is your y-intercept. So let me change my pen. And I've got b equals 10. Now you have your m value, which is your slope, and you have your b value, which is your y-intercept. You're just going to use this equation and write your equation. Y equals negative 6x plus 10. You now have your equation that you obtained from looking at the table.